Hi, something I don't do very often on my channel is show you guys more of my work and then also the type of work that I do. I talk a lot about a lot of things I'm passionate about, but lately I've been feeling like I don't show enough of that. So I want to show you actually a very recent shoot that Steven and I both had last week and show you some of the work that I do outside of weddings. Yeah, now you can come closer. What's motivated me to make this video too is a lot of people, even in my personal life, don't really know what I do for work, and they're not supposed to because they don't do what I do. But I think on this channel, along with what I already make, I want to make content that brings both people in our industry, people in social media, online world. Yeah, does that make sense? What we do, but also the people in my life. So that's family, that's friends, my church community, just bringing people more into my life and giving insight into what I love to do. I have been a wedding photographer now for 8 years. I've talked about this numerous times on my channel, but in the past 3 years, I've been doing more commercial work, and that's actually how I've monetized more of my business, is doing more work that's interiors, lifestyle, now hospitality, and working with smaller brands and businesses to create visual assets for them. So this recent shoot was actually for a client that I booked earlier this year. It's a project that Steven and I both did together because it's actually both of our clients. I will talk more about that at the end of the video, but what I actually want to do is show you what that shoot looked like. I want to show you how we set everything up, why we set it up in that way, and kind of just go behind the scenes, because that's also something that I feel like isn't talked about enough. How are people shooting commercial jobs? How are they lighting it? How are they tethering? How are they backing up files? How are they working with clients on site in studio to create all those assets? So that's what I'm going to show you right now. I'm also really hot, so I'm
so warm right now.
all right. This will be. Oh. Okay. Bye. Let's just kind of go over first what the job was. So this particular shoot was more e-commerce facing. So it was actually creating photos for this client's website, and it was focused on some of their new line of apparel that they're making. Steven and I chose to use this specific room in our studio because we had length. We were able to set up a table there where, honestly, Steven's holding the camera right now, but we set up a table there where we had a monitor and computer. We set up 9-foot white seamless. That's what's right behind me. We set it up on C-stands. And the reason why we put up so high was so that if we stepped further back from the seamless to photograph our subjects, that we would still see as much of that white background as possible. And it worked out in our favor because one of our models was very tall, honestly, like the same height as Steven. And so we have white seamless. We actually installed diffusion curtains in our studio last year, and it was because we wanted to create even light in the space. And as you can see on the paper right now, you actually see the shadows from the window frames, and we didn't want any of that. So we closed all of the curtains. We used 3 lights. The first light was a Nanlite Forza 500. I don't know why companies name their products this way, but that's what it's called. That was our main key light. And then we also used a Godox SL200W. We used 2 key lights. We wanted more output, just because we weren't using strobes for this specific shoot. And then to the right of our models, our talents, we had a Godox VL150, which acted as our kicker. And Steven and I tinkered with a few different ways to change the output of it or diffuse it, but where we landed was actually facing it away from our subject and bouncing it off the wall, and that created a pretty soft look that worked great for just creating a very soft kind of like hair light for our models. Obviously C-stands and sandbags for safety. And then we used a desk where we set up a MacBook, a monitor. I was shooting on a Canon R5 for the entirety of the shoot. And that was intentional too, because we wanted as much megapixels as possible for cropping after the fact. I shot on the Canon RF 50 1.2. What was really cool was we tethered to the MacBook. So Steven, on a previous job of his, used a tethering tool where it locks in the tether cable from the camera body to the computer. And that's something that we found would be perfect for this shoot. So that's what we purchased. We tethered to my MacBook with Lightroom. And what was great was I basically acted as photographer for the entire shoot. And then Steven was kind of like creative director, digital tech. But Steven was back there and he was reviewing all the images while I was taking them. We worked off of my iPad Pro for the shot list. And then what was really fun was we actually used a slate to slate each scene or each look so that after the fact, when we were in post-production, we could track all the edits. And honestly, it helped us so much to track all of the post-production. And then we also did that too, because if the client asked us, hey, for this one, can you change this? It was just a lot easier for us to manage that. So on the front end, we were just very intentional about doing that. We used some C-stands for hangers so that our client could hang their product on there. We set up a mirror, actually just off camera, so that our models could use that to keep checking on their hair, if the outfits look right. That's basically all of the gear that we use. Can you? It's hard to expose for right now, isn't it? Woo! Okay. Is it actually cool though? Okay. That was how we shot the job. And I'm just gonna show some images I took on my phone just because the deliverables are strictly for the client. But just some phone photos of what we took on the job. And hopefully, as you've seen all of the iPhone footage that I was showing as I listed off everything, it just gives you a good idea of how we set stuff up. But I want to talk about this job, how I booked it, and how I've maintained this client because it was not by myself. The way that we got this job was through my basketball league. And that sounds so ridiculous when I say it out loud, but it's really what happened. There's a basketball league that I joined about a half a year ago. And just talking to like strangers and random guys, what I do for a living came up in conversation with one of the people there. And it just ended up being one of the owners of this company. And so through more discussion and talks, I put together a pitch deck for this company. And ultimately they booked as a client. When I pitched them, I actually came to Steven first and discussed with him, hey, if I book this client, would you want to do the work together? And he said yes. And so all the work that we've created for this client thus far, up until that shoot, and everything we'll do moving forward with this client will be us in tandem doing it together. And that's really what I wanted to stress or highlight through this entire video is that's been a common theme in my life, in my creative journey, in my business, as I've diversified my business, is it's never just been by myself. Even in my wedding business, I have Byron, who's been an associate, but a friend too for years now. And I really don't think that my business will look the way it does on the wedding side without Byron. And in the same vein with commercial work, YouTube, Instagram, social media, all that stuff, none of it would look the way it does right now without my friends who I work so closely alongside or in partnership with, like Steven. So that's just something I wanted to highlight, that this job, all the stuff that you saw wasn't just me. It was actually only half of me. The other half was Steven. For this client, I'll show some of the work that we've done over the past few months, some of the work that we're really proud of. Yeah, find the people that you work really well with. Find the people that keep pushing you forward and that you can grow alongside. That's very much what I've done. And I'm very thankful for both Steven and the Creative Club community. If you do it together with other people, it's a lot easier, more enjoyable. So that's it. Would love a like and subscribe. And that's it. That's it. That's it. Ooh, audio is still recording. That's it. So find your Steven, honestly.
Find your Geen. Bye. I don't know what the camera can see right now.
Is it even exposed?
I don't. Probably not.
Oh, that's good.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. Bye, bye, butterfly.
Bye, bye, butterfly.
Okay. Wait. Do a little more.
This is my first time trying it out.
Do ba-do ba-do ba-do. Nice. Nice. Good work. Good work. Yep.
Good.
Nice.
I'm just gonna really drop this.
Okay, and action. Walk away.
Oh, okay. All right,